Chapter 5 Ambush. Ryan had stopped to gather his bearings in an alcove. He was downtown already. They hadn't been that far away when Gavin radioed in. They'd been headed for Lindsay's place in East Los Santos, cutting through Vespucci Boulevard. The Vanilla Unicorn Strip Club was only a few blocks away. Surely not another fluke. Something felt wrong about this whole scenario, but Ryan couldn't put his finger on it. He took advantage of the rain to finally scrub the paint from his face and dried blood from his body. His jacket was still in the car, or somewhere on the road from when he tumbled out. His feet were still bare and bleeding, but he managed to pick out the shards of glass and gravel. His jeans were heavy with water and clung to his legs as he moved. Just stop and think. Something wasn't right. A lot of things weren't right, but something about this was fishy. They'd never have given a location over the radio unless they knew it was secure. Unless they knew something he didn't. It was possible. He'd been unconscious for some time and then left alone for several hours. Enough time to get in touch with contacts and sort out security issues. Enough time to find Jeremy. Enough time to set up an ambush. The idea came from somewhere deep in his brain, bubbling to the surface and fixing itself in the center of his thoughts. Surely not. Surely they wouldn't go that far. Still, he couldn't shake the thought. He had to proceed carefully. He had to be prepared. It didn't take him long to find what he was looking for. Makeshift weapons were a Los Santos specialty. He pulled the 3-foot length of rebar from a dumpster outside of the parking lot where construction was going on. It was light enough to wield one-handed, but solid enough to do some serious damage if needed. He found some rags, stiff with grease, from the same dumpster, and used the rebar to shatter a nearby window. He carefully picked a long shard of glass out of the debris and wrapped the rags around the end to make a crude shank. As he tucked it into his belt, he sincerely hoped he wouldn't have to use it. He started towards the Vanilla Unicorn, but took the back route, keeping quiet and well hidden in the shadows. The rain helped to mask his presence. It was still too early for the nightlife to have kicked into gear, and the whole area was largely deserted. There was a ladder to the roof embedded to the side of the building opposite the entrance to the club. It was low, only a single story, but would provide a good vantage point for someone planning an ambush. He took a quick look around to make sure nobody else was in the alley before awkwardly, but silently, climbing the ladder. He poked his head above the ledge of the roof and spotted a body hunched over a sniper rifle, peering through the scope pointed at the entrance of the Vanilla Unicorn, and for a split second, he thought of Ray. Ryan could feel his blood beginning to boil. He didn't want to be right, but there was Gavin, waiting, probably covering Michael, who would be somewhere down there waiting for him to make his move. Ryan's fist clenched around the rebar. He struggled to remain in control of himself. It's Gavin, it's Michael and Gavin. They're your crew. You don't want to hurt them. He repeated the thought in his head, trying desperately to convince himself it was true. He took a deep breath and steeled himself. With the rain and his bare feet, it was easy to go unnoticed as he snuck up behind Gavin. Gavin seemed fidgety, like he'd been there for some time, his messy blonde hair plastered to his head, his usual nice gray shirt soaked through and transparent where it stuck to his skin. As Ryan approached, he could hear he was quietly talking to Michael through his earpiece and grinning like an idiot. You get $1 million, but for the rest of your life, you have to wear a fully open parachute around wherever you go. Gavin almost stifled a nasal giggle. Ryan cut him off guard, swinging the rebar down hard into his ribs with a sickening crack. Gavin let out a pained grunt, and Ryan swung for the rifle, knocking it out of his hands. Gavin rolled over, still in pain and shock. Michael! Gavin yelled into the comms. Ryan's up here! Ryan swung the rebar again, hitting Gavin's left thigh and making him cry out again. Gavin raised his arms defensively as Ryan swung at him again, connecting with his forearm, and he could feel the bone in his wrist fracture on impact. Gavin was much smaller than Ryan, so even with his bad arm, Ryan had no trouble wrestling him into a headlock, pressing his body against Gavin's and turning his back to the ledge as he could hear Michael scramble up the ladder. Michael jumped to his feet at the top of the ladder and leveled his pistol at Ryan, who now effectively had a human shield. With his free hand, Ryan patted Gavin down, searching for his sidearm, but came up empty. Gavin had forgotten his pistol. Again. Not that it would do him any good at this stage, but it meant Ryan was still unarmed and unable to wield the sniper rifle. He was again forced to improvise. With his bad left hand, Ryan pulled the makeshift shank from his belt and held it to Gavin's neck, right below his ear, pressing against his carotid artery. Michael held fast. "Ryan, don't you fucking dare!" He looked to Gavin. "Gavin, are you okay?" Gavin wheezed in response, but managed. "I'm okay, Michael." Ryan radiated danger. His eyes had grown dark and cold. "Michael, I don't have to hurt him." "Then don't!" Despite the force of his words, Michael's eyes flashed fear, but it was all for Gavin. If Michael was in Gavin's position, he would have shown no weakness, and Ryan knew that. He'd counted on it. "Well, that's gonna depend," Ryan said evenly. "Where's Jeremy?" Gavin squirmed in his grasp before speaking up, sounding far too innocent and hurt. "I can't believe you're really a traitor, Ryan." "God damn it, I'm not a traitor." "You've got Gavin in a fucking headlock. You're threatening to kill him. How are you not a traitor?" Michael was furious, but Ryan held his ground. "I've been tied up to a chair for the last 10 goddamn hours. You set me up to ambush me. It's fucking entrapment, by the way. I've been shot at. I still have no fucking clue what's going on. And I'm the traitor?" Ryan was on edge now. Gavin squirmed more anxiously, and Ryan tightened his grip on him, making him give out a whimper. "Fuck," Michael mumbled. "Care to explain what the fuck is going on, Michael?" Michael lowered his gun. The rain was starting to let up, and it was just a drizzle now. "Jeff sent us to look for Jeremy," Michael began. "He told us about his connection with Kovic and Funhouse. We were able to track him when he picked up a Simeon vehicle. He started heading back into Los Santos." "That much I know," Ryan interrupted. Michael continued. "We found out he had a safe house near here that he used to use when he was in contact with them that he still visited. Matt confirmed it for us." Ryan was confused. "Wait, so Matt knew about Funhouse? He used to run with them too?" "Yeah, but we knew that. He told us straight away. Him and Lil J came as a package deal. Jeff hired them for the B team together. Lil J just kept his secret longer. Makes him a bit more suspicious, right?" Ryan was annoyed he hadn't been privy to this information sooner, but ignored his question. "So, you caught up with him?" "Yeah, we caught him trying to contact someone. He still hasn't said who, but he was having trouble getting onto them. Seemed pretty worried about them, too." Ryan raised an eyebrow but said nothing. "Anyway, we took him back to the safe house on Bay Street. He's still there, and Jeff and Jack are on their way there now." "So why did you set me up? You already had Jeremy." Michael looked down, and Gavin squirmed for breath, squeaking out quietly, "It was Jeff's idea." Michael nodded. "To be honest, I thought it was a pretty shitty thing to do," he said with a grimace. "He wanted to see if you would run." "The innocent never run," Jeff used to always say. Fuck. Ryan had taken the bait, hook, line, and sinker. "And that's why you dropped the name over the radio. So I would find my way here, or back to the safe house on Bay Tree." Michael nodded again. "Yeah, we were gonna be ready for you one way or another. Guess we didn't think it would be like this, though." He smirked, and Ryan returned it, letting up Gavin a little. His left arm was starting to strain. "Alright, I'm gonna say it now. I'm not a traitor. And I don't think Jeremy is either." Michael sneered. "Ryan, man, come on. Maybe you're not, but Lil J, he shot Jeff. He ran. He was scared. He was being set up, just like I am now." Something clicked in Ryan's head. Wait, does he know that Jeff knows about him and Kovic? Michael shook his head. "Nope. Jeff wants him to admit it. Needs to hear it come from him. Needs to know who he's loyal to. Ryan scowled. Michael paused. Actually, before you let him go, Jeff wanted you to get it out of him. You're the best at that stuff. He shrugged. Guess that's not happening now. Huh? Why? Gavin asked somewhat oddly. Why the fuck do you think, Gavin? Ryan began, before Gavin suddenly pushed backwards hard, sending Ryan stumbling towards the ledge of the building, dropping the glass shard in the process. He quickly regained his balance, and Michael was back on him with the pistol. Ryan heard a noise below him, and suddenly realized that Gavin hadn't been talking to him, but through his comms. He didn't have time to turn around before he felt the impact in his bare flesh, and his body seized up as he fell to his knees. Gavin scrambled away, and Michael rushed to his side. Gavin! For once, I'm actually glad you forgot your gun. A relieved smile washed over Michael's face. All Ryan could feel was pain. Every muscle tensed, and his mind raced as he realized he was being tased. He couldn't do anything but tightly curl his toes, and even then, he couldn't tell if that was involuntary. He was vaguely aware of a noise that sounded like it was coming from him, but he had no control over it. It felt like someone had put his chest in a vice. The electricity stopped just as suddenly as it started, but Ryan was only just able to gasp for breath before it began again. Once Michael was satisfied that Gavin was okay, he walked up to Ryan and kicked away his weapons, keeping his pistol trained on him. Jesus, Jack, stop it! I got it! From the ground below, Jack flicked the safety on, cutting the electricity. Sucks, doesn't it? Michael asked Ryan, a cheeky grin growing on his face. Sure does, replied Ryan in a wheeze. Yo, Michael, Jack called from below. Leave the barbs in, just in case. Seriously? Oh man. Sorry, Rybread. Michael sounded just as disappointed as Ryan felt. He knew what it felt like to be tased. Everyone awkwardly got down from the roof, first Ryan at gunpoint, then Michael assisting Gavin. Jack kept the taser in hand and a pistol aimed at Ryan the whole time. Jeff was waiting for them in the car. I was right about you being too goddamn dangerous to let loose. You set me up, Ryan said darkly. Jeff returned his glare. The innocent never run, Ryan. They do when they're being chased.